Welcome everyone to the first episode of the Easylife Iron to Immortal series. I'm here today to talk about what am I talking about today? I'm joking. We're talking about fundamental mechanics, okay guys? Today is going to be about fundamental mechanics and I'm going to switch here for the in-game. Let's come on, read the game. Thank you. So, this video is gonna be done without editing. It's gonna be straight up just talking to you guys, like teaching you guys some good stuff for you to learn and improve. And I have here in the chat, you can check it. We're gonna talk first about sensitivity, then crosshair, because people like crosshairs, and I'm gonna show you I'm gonna give you the cons, the pros and cons about some crosshairs and others. And then we're gonna talk about counter strafing, tapping, bursting, and spraying, and then we're going to talk about when to use each shooting style. And to do that, we're going to go into a DM, and I'm going to teach you guys and talk about crosshair placement as well in a deathmatch. While I kill some people, I'm going to give you some tips so you can understand and see it live against other players. So, talking about sensitivity, sense is something that you guys shouldn't dwell on. Because it's preference, but like anything in life, for you to know what you like prefer and what you like, you need to try stuff out, right? So obviously you want to use one sense and then try it out for a long period of time, like I'd say like a week, 2 weeks, and then you want to actually try other stuff out so you know what you like the most, right? But there's optimal senses, and this is what I'm gonna show to you guys today. I'm gonna give you guys my opinion on optimal senses. So my sense is 800 DPI 0.32, and this is how much it goes. So it's like a 180 plus like 1/4, okay? And then the lowest I'd say for you guys to like go, I think you can even go like 2-3, but I'd say this sense, oops, not actually this sense, but I'd say this sense is a pretty good low sense, and my mousepad is pretty large, and I think you guys should buy a large mousepad if you guys like want to decrease your sense and be more accurate. I think it will help you guys a lot, especially testing different senses. So this one, from one side to the other, it's like 180 plus a little bit. And I think this is like the best low sense that you guys can use. And then like I'll go to the highest. So the highest that I find to be good is this one on 800 DPI. And this is how much I turn. So 360 plus something. I think those are pretty good senses that you guys should like try to find something you like in between those two, in between this one and in between this one. Okay, mine is this, and this is what I find comfortable. This is what I prefer, but I also went through a lot of testing while playing this game. I started playing this game in the beta, and I tested a lot of sense for me to actually find out this one and know that this one is the one that I like. And I think you guys should do the same. Just try to don't use one sense in one day and then go another day and use another one, okay? No, give it some time for you to actually know what are the cons and pros of your sense. Like for example, if I use a low sense, and this is what you guys will find out, if I use a low sense, maybe while I gotta check corners is a lot harder. Like for example, if I'm playing entry, if I'm playing jet and I gotta entry for my team, and then I gotta check this corner and check this corner, and then I gotta check this corner, all while I have to run in, maybe you guys don't have the arm movement for it, you know? Some people are arm aimers, some aren't. Maybe you aren't an arm aimer and you are a wrist aimer. So this is pretty difficult for you. So after a week of trying and letting your muscles develop, if they don't develop enough and you still have trouble turning around that fast, then you know that low sense isn't for you. The pro of it is that long range fights and stuff like that, you'll have a very stable aim and you'll be able to be very accurate, but then you're trading mobility for it, you know, and it's up to you to figure out if that's the best thing for you or not, and that needs time, right? And the same goes for eye sense. So if you pick up a high sense, the problem is the exact opposite. It's gonna be easy to start checking angles very fast while you don't stop, but then the accuracy is different. Now you gotta give time for you to develop and see if you are actually able to be accurate anyway, and then if you are, you got best of both worlds. So that's why you need time to test sense, and you shouldn't like switch it up very fast. And that's all that I have to talk about sense. Let's go to crosshairs. So crosshairs are pretty simple. I'm using CNET right now. There are a lot of types of crosshairs, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about each one, and I'm gonna say like the pros and cons, and that's basically it. So we got the dot here, and this says easy because this is my main one, but I'm not actually using this right now. I'm using Tense's one. Anyway, the dot. What do I find that are the pros of the dot? I'm very accurate with it. If I want to give headshots, like, it's pretty easy to put my crosshair in the head and to see that it's on the head, and that's where I want to shoot. The cons. Whenever I have to flick to a target to spray it, actually it's not as good to know that my crosshair like is on the target, and not as good to do the smooth flick and go down to spray. Like, my perception of it is not that great. That's why I changed. I prefer a crosshair, a simple crosshair like this one, to actually do the flick and then smoothly spray down. I feel like it's easier to see my crosshair doing that movement than it's with the dot. So this is a normal crosshair but with a small gap, and I feel like this is probably a good balance between accuracy on tapping and actually flicking to a target and spraying him down. I think it's a pretty good balance, the Tense crosshair. But then you got crosshairs like Sub Rosa that have a bigger gap, and basically there are even bigger gaps. And I think the good thing about this crosshair is that when you flick to a target, I think since the gap is bigger, it's pretty easy, or it's easier to put a target body in between the crosshair, you know. And so I decreased the volume, sorry, and so it becomes easier to like flick and put a target in between the gap, because the gap is bigger, so your perception of a target being in your crosshair, I think it's a little bit easier to understand. So I feel like these types of crosshair with big gaps are very good to spraying, but then they lack the accuracy in like very long range. So they lack the accuracy in very long range to like put it in the middle of the crosshair, you know. So though that is the con of a very big crosshair, like a crosshair with a big gap. And then you got crosshairs like the Penny S one and CNET that they don't have a dot, but they still have like the crosshair. So it's like a balance between the accuracy on shooting some guy on the head, like the accuracy of a dot, you know, because it doesn't have a gap, and at the same time it's like easier to perceive that your crosshair is on a target, and it's easier to do that vertical line that you use to control your spray, sorry. So I think these are all my opinions on the very different types of crosshairs, and I think you need to test them out and see what you like, and see what you really want to use, what cons and pros are better for you. That's basically it on crosshairs. Now let's get to counter strafing. So like I said before on my introduction video, I have more in-depth videos on some of these topics, and on counter strafing and crosshair placement I have more in-depth videos on my channel. You should look on my channel for them, and you'll get a better explanation. This will be just a quick review on what's counter strafing and those type of things. On my video on counter strafing, I actually have a keyboard in my screen, so it's like easier for you to understand what I'm talking about. But let's go to counter strafing. So to counter strafing, like strafing is walking into a direction. right? Doesn't matter what direction that is, you're strafing if you're doing it, if you're walking into a direction. Counter strafing is basically pressing the opposite key of the direction that you're going. So if I'm moving to the left, pressing A, if I tap D, I stop, I counter strafed. And this is useful to make you accurate, because in this game you need to stop to actually be accurate. So let me show you. If I'm strafing left and I'm shooting, this is my accuracy. But if I move left and then stop and shoot, then I actually can control my bullets way better than I can if I try to control it like this. As you see? So I go, I counter strafe, and then I'm actually able to control my bullets. And not only this, if you actually are able to master counter strafing, you're able to be more mobile, because you can go left, stop, be accurate, then go right, stop by pressing the opposite key. So press A, tap E, shoot a little bit, press D, tap A, shoot a little bit. And if you are able to do that fast enough, you are able to do like this. And now, while you do this, you're basically almost never stopping, you know, and you're being accurate. So you're being evasive while you're being accurate, and that's the whole point of mastering counter strafing. So you can actually do this and kill people while you do it. So a good exercise to practice this is basically, so moving to the left, stopping by tapping the opposite key, and doing like left right on the bots while you try to be accurate while doing it. And that's counter strafing, and it's a very important mechanic, because it lets you be accurate and mobile at the same time, and it will help you win your duels a lot more than just coming and then crouching to make sure that you're accurate. If you do that all the time, you're always a sitting duck. But then you can switch. Obviously, you can crouch spray sometimes to commit to a fight, but you shouldn't be doing always that. You should be like because sometimes you'll fail, right? What happens if you crouch spray and fail? You have to uncrouch and move to the right, and that's very slow. And while you're crouching and failing, you're a sitting duck. But you can counter strafe, and if you actually manage to fail the first shots, you can notice that you failed, move back to another position, and then try to kill the target again, and then you are very hard to eat, so your target might fail again just because of your movement. That's why counter strafing is so important for you guys to learn, and you should check out the video on my channel about it for you guys to become better at counter strafing and know how to practice counter strafing actually, so you can improve. Now I'm gonna talk about how to shoot, because now that we got the movement part of Valorant in, now we need to talk about how to shoot, right? So what people don't understand about, let's start with tapping and bursting, okay, what people don't understand about tapping and bursting is that you need to respect the weapon reset timings. Each weapon has a different reset timing, and that's the timing that they take to become stable again. So if I start spraying here, you'll notice that my crosshair will go up, and then it will take a certain amount of time to go back to normal. As you see, it goes up, and then it takes a time to go back to the initial position, and when it's back to the initial position, the weapon is stable and it's 100% accurate again, and the shot will go to the center, and I'm able to do everything right again. Now, the timing that it takes for my gun to go back to normal, it's the timing that you need to respect, and people don't respect it, and that's why they miss. And they start missing, and they don't know why they're missing, but it's because of that. So when I'm tapping, if I tap too fast, I'm not letting my crosshair go back to the initial position, and like if I do respect it, this is what happens. If I don't respect it, this is what happens. You see the difference? And the same happens to bursting. So if I burst a couple of bullets and I respect the reset times, You see, I didn't respect it one time. And if I don't respect it, you see, it's completely different. The accuracy between one and the other. And this is what you guys need to know when you're tapping, is that there is a reset timing. You see my crosshair going up and down? This is what you need to respect. The only way that you can learn this is if you practice. So you should spend a little bit of time on the practice range and practice just tapping and leaving all the bullets in the same place. And if you learn this when you're fighting someone and you miss, if you respect the timing, you are able to adjust to the target and still hit it. But if you don't respect it, right? I killed him, but yeah, you get the message. So it's like if I don't respect it and I try, see my crosshair was on the target for a very long time, but only the last bullet hit. And this is what happens most of the time. You have you don't respect the reset timings, you have your crosshair on the target, but the bullets are flying, and then you wonder why you're missing. And it's because of that. So that's the most important thing that you need to learn about tapping and bursting, is to respect the weapon reset timings. And then on spraying, what you need to learn about spraying is there are a few tricks, but there's a recoil pattern. If I don't move my mouse and I let my weapon go, there's this type of spray pattern where the bullets go up and then they start going left and right. And basically, to control the spray, you need to do the opposite pattern of what happens, right? You need to go down and then you need to go left and right. So on other games, and especially CSGO, from where I come from, the recoil pattern is basically always the same. There is bloom, which means that the bullets within this pattern, the bullets can go a little bit more to the left or right, you know. But it will always draw the same pattern. It isn't the same on this game. The only thing that is that will happen always 100% of the time is that the bullets will go up. So this part of the spray right here will always happen. Now, the direction that this will go and end, it's never the same. It's random. But there's a way for you guys to know where the weapon is going, and there's a way for you guys to know how to control it, and I'm gonna explain it to you guys. So first things first is I need to do the spray control, like the spray pattern, on the opposite way. So I need to, when I start shooting, I need to go down because it goes up, and then I need to go left or right depending on where the bullets are going. So let's go. So it's pretty much that. And now, how do I know where are my bullets going? So if you look at the weapon view model, you can actually see where the bullets are going, because my gun, if the bullets are going to the right, my gun will go to the right. And then I know that I have to pull my crosshair to the left because of that. And then my gun will start going to the left, my weapon model. You can see it. I'm going to show it to you guys. Watch. Left, right. So when that happens, I only need to pull my gun, or my crosshair in this case, to the opposite side of where my gun view model is going. So let's go. So left I go center, right I go center. You know? And now as you practice, you will start to see your view model with your peripheral view. I think I said it right. So basically, you will be able to look at your crosshair and understand where is your gun going, and then readjust. Another thing that you'll also be able to understand is if I'm shooting at someone, all right, and I'm failing, you'll see the bullets. You'll see the bullets hit behind, like basically behind the target on the wall behind him. Sorry. And you'll know that you have to readjust more to the right because the bullets are going to the left. That's another way as well, because you're focused on your crosshair. Maybe it's easier for you to see the wall behind your target than it is for you to focus on what the hell your gun is doing, you know? So those are the tips for you to control the spray, and the only way for you to practice it is just coming to a practice range and shooting against the wall. And you practice. You can also practice shooting against bots. I recommend more you shoot against the wall. It's easier. You can see what is going on a lot easier than if you were to shoot targets. But if you already got the part of shooting against the wall pretty well, like, okay, your spray isn't like this. It's more centered. If you already got a good spray control, then you can start practicing spray transfers, like from here, transfer. You know, that's good practice as well. So that's all about how to shoot. And now we're gonna go into a deathmatch so I can explain to you guys when you should spray, when you should tap, when you should burst, and stuff like that. And also crosshair placement. That's a pretty important thing for you guys to learn, because crosshair placement is one of the biggest aim fundamentals. It's like 80% of aiming. So let's go to a deathmatch. I need to drink some water because I'm dying right now.
Match found.
Okay, I'll also explain to you guys what is the most optimal way of shooting. So there are some games where every so I'll put the volume actually low so I can talk to you guys better. But there are some games where actually every shooting style is viable, like tapping and bursting and spraying. Sorry, all those types are actually quite viable. In this game, there's one that is more like viable than the others, and that's bursting, because of the basically the first bullet accuracy. I need to actually turn the volume all off. I'll turn it on in a bit for you guys to understand. But basically, the first bullet accuracy on this game is very bad. The bullet never goes to the same place, the first bullet, you know, and when it goes to like long distance, as you can see, it's pretty bad. So tapping in this game is not very good, but bursting is because of that, because you get a higher chance of getting your bullet to the correct place, right? So you just want to shoot like a couple bullets, and I'm missing everything. This is my warm-up as well. Now use the phantom for it. So basically depends on the distance, and usually in long distances you want to just burst, you know. My mouse stopped working, I mean. But yeah, that's basically it. So when you're close, you want to spray. When you're close range like this, you can spray. You can even crouch and spray to commit to it. And then when you're far away, you want to either tap or burst, you know. You can shoot a little burst with the phantom. This will happen a lot, where you hit for 140 in one, you know. But it happens, and you just have to deal with it. With the Vandal, it will be pretty good because you always kill the target. But like if you burst with the phantom, yeah, that you're probably gonna have to burst twice, unless you pull down a little bit. So if you pull down a little bit while you do your burst correctly, like this, you know, you'll manage to get the kill. I just don't like to do it a lot, but that's a good tip. So now that you know, like when you're close, you should spray. And mid-range, you should like burst and keep moving, so you're not a sitting duck, right? And I got killed. Now, with the phantom, so let's kill this guy on spawn so I can explain. So, with the phantom, tapping is not, oh my god, it's not the best, but it can help you be accurate. So you might want to do it. You see, this was like kind of mid-range, so I can actually spray as well. But yeah, tapping with the phantom long range might help you be accurate, but just know that you're gonna have to eat two bullets instead, you know. So that's pretty much the thing about the phantom. Now I wanna like give an example of spraying. I think there's a guy right here. Nope. Maybe a guy waiting for me here. Nope, he died. Maybe a guy here. So you can also spray mid-range. It's not a problem. If you're on the lower ranks, you need to be careful about crouching while you spray, because people don't have a very good crosshair placement. So if you crouch into them, they will always like eat you with an headshot, and you want to avoid that. Like if I crouch here, let me see, you'll see it will happen. I'll crouch to someone and someone will headshot me, you know, because their crosshair placement is bad and they're low ranks. So you see the burst and counter strafe, so I'm always accurate. You see, like this, so I keep being accurate. That's what you guys want to try to do. Let me put my camera more here. So you see, like I dodge him, and then he sprayed me well. Anyway, so now let's, since the DM is already halfway, let's talk about crosshair placement, right? So who's shooting? It's that guy. Okay, crosshair placement. It's gonna be hard to explain, but you first things first. The first rule is you always want to have your aim at head level. Okay, so that's the first thing. You want to try to walk around the map with your crosshair in head level. You see, there's even some lines that can help you with that. Okay, we got the campers in this deathmatch, I see. Anyway, so you got this box level as well to show you like what is head level. As you can see. And that's basically it. You should always walk with your crosshair on head level, and you'll have in the map some lines to help you out with that. So pay attention to that. That's a very good tip. You see, this box is helping me know where is head level, and you have some boxes with some lines helping me, and this camper here to kill me as well. Anyway, another thing is, while you're walking, you usually don't want to walk with your crosshair somewhere around, you know, like you want to walk with your crosshair either next to the wall that you're peeking, so you're immediately ready to shoot the person that is behind the wall, or you can even like have your crosshair inside the wall but like really close to the line, you know, so you're always ready to kill the person that is behind the wall. As you see,
3 out of 5.
always ready, my friends. Those are 2 tips. Now, another tip for crosshair placement is when you're expecting someone to pick you, and that is like the distance that you put off of the box, you know, when you're expecting someone to pick you. Because if you put your crosshair close to the wall, so if you put your crosshair close to the wall and he swings you, you're gonna have to do a flick, and you want to decrease the amount of variables, and you want to decrease also the distance between the flick. As you see, it was close. I was talking, I didn't react to it, but that's pretty much it. And I'm gonna let him win. That's pretty much it. You always want to decrease the distance between your crosshair and the wall, so it makes it easier for you to react, and it makes your flicks like the distance of your flicks lower, and that helps you be more consistent while you're gaming and while you're aiming as well. So I think that's pretty much it. The quick tips that I have for you guys about crosshair, and all the other tips that I gave on the video. The video was pretty long, but like I said, I was gonna talk without editing, just talk to you guys, give you tips. Hope you guys enjoyed. These videos are gonna be long, but I think it has pretty good information for you guys that want to learn. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I talked about a lot of different topics, but I think those are all important topics, and I talked a little bit about settings, but mainly about fundamental mechanics that you need to learn. Now, after you see this general video, you can go on and search more in-depth videos about the topics that I talked about here, and learn and practice them, and you'll definitely improve. I think these are the main things that you need to work on and focus on for you to improve mechanically. And there are also other topics, but I'll speak about them probably in another video in the series, and explain you guys things like what angles to hold, how to peek, what types of peek there are, and stuff like that. I actually have in my channel already a video about how to peek, so you guys should check that out as well. And basically that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this this video. I hope you enjoyed, and please leave a like and subscribe so you can help me reach more people, so you can basically help me help more people. See you guys in the next video on the second episode of this series. See ya.